Good evening. This is the Georgia Doty Comprehensive Health Report show that we do every Tuesday at 6 p.m. from 6 to 6:30. And my name is Beverly Walker, and I am your host tonight. And I have with me here tonight Mr. Robert Beck.
Good evening.
And Mr. Beck is a R&D chemist, in which I am actually going to ask him to explain what that means. And he works with Chicago Good Health Group. Mr. Beck, can you start by telling us what an R&D chemist is?
R&D chemist is a research and development. And with the research and development, it specializes in doing research, getting information, and developing the information. And that's what makes a difference just a regular chemist.
Okay, so now you're saying that you said that you specialize in food and nutrition?
Yes, because all foods, everything has a chemical makeup, including food. That's why everything that we put in our bodies, we should at least have some idea to know what function it's going to work and how it's going to help our bodies be healthier, because every food has a need, a particular use, an advantage, and some disadvantage, because food can be good or bad depending on what your health conditions or what you're dealing with. So it's important to know the chemistry of food and the makeup and what it's used for and how it's developed for.
Well, as I remember, back in high school, we didn't talk a lot about that. I got a lot of information from my parents where they say this is good for you, this is not good for you. Everybody says you should eat green leafy vegetables. But then I'm sure there are some people that just don't know where to start. And then food costs a lot of money. When you go to the store, if you don't, some people live in food deserts. So they don't have access to a lot of the healthy foods. I would like for you to start off by telling us what type of food it is that we should eat.
First, I'd like to start out by saying what is important and what the body requires.
Okay.
Last year, the United Nations endorsed research that for us as humans, if we put 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 3 fatty acids in our diet on a daily basis, it would give us a good adequate need to make the body function. Every function in the body, from bones, joints, heart, digestion, requires a combination of nutrients. So first, we want to learn what nutritional things that we need. And this is an educational class by itself. But what we have to find is, first you have to learn what you need and then find out what foods it comes in, or just find out the research that has been done and utilize that combination of research, and then it'll make the body healthy. Because unfortunately, we should have, if children, mothers didn't have a manual on how to take care of children when she had a child.
Right.
So therefore, a lot of the foods and nutritional things we put in our body cause a lot of problems, because you can eat good or you can eat bad. You can eat for health, for taste, or for health nutritional. So it becomes a fact of learning some things. And like I said, unfortunately, it wasn't something that our parents got when they were having children.
Exactly. And even in my generation with the baby boomers, we didn't always get that information. We didn't get it from school. I did learn that you should eat green leafy vegetables, you should eat beans. But can you just tell us about some of the things that people are consuming now? I know a lot of people consume sugar. I was at a restaurant the other morning having breakfast, and I watched the young lady put coffee in her sugar. She must have used about 12 bags of sugar for 1 cup of coffee. And I know people say, I hear all the time that sugar is really, really bad for you. They be on TV, they talk about how many teaspoons of sugar women are supposed to have, how many men should have. Can you just talk about that some?
Yeah, I did some research on sugar, and I found 72 reasons why you may not consume sugar. And if you just Google sugar, the health effect and benefits, then you would understand that there's quite a few. Because sugar acts just like cocaine. It raises the body up and get it going, but then you drop so low with your energy. It has no nutrition value and it's very addictive. sugar is extremely addictive, and that's why you hear people say, I have to have my sugar rush and do that.
Right.
So when you go down the list of all what sugar is for, you won't find any nutritional benefits. And it's so easy to Google sugar and its negative effects and what it does in the body and how it affects the body. Give you teeth start getting all hollowed up and diabetes and all of these factors and immune system depression. When you put sugar in your body, the one thing it attacks is the immune system. So what we have to do is learn some things. Learn what we got going on, what food is doing, what it's not doing, and work on committing to do the things that's going to better your health.
Well, this already sounds like I should be sitting on the other side of the desk taking notes, and not behind the desk here as the host tonight. But when you say 60 minerals,
Last year, the United Nations endorsed a research that indicated that what would be an adequate amount of nutrients per person per day is 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 3 fatty acids. And with those combination, it would give you adequate returns on what the body needs to just take care of itself. But it's not nothing strange about that. Everything in life has requirements. Everything in life requires what you have to get it to work. We can go to something as general as our cars. In our cars, we have to make sure we have transmission fluid, motor oil, brake fluid.
Right.
You can't use one for the other one, and you got to use the one that your car uses. Clean your system out every year, 3 times a year, just like you change the oil in your car. You're doing something to a bill. So when you get all these things that car needs, our body's the same way. We need more nutrition than the cars need those 5 oils, but they just work to be effective because everything that goes on in our bodies requires a combination of different nutrients to make it work. And now you hear a lot of people say, we don't have no vitamin D. Well, any of the nutrients that's missing out of your life, whatever purpose it's supposed to serve, that purpose is not happening.
so for a person that's watching the show tonight who may want to clean their system out and start eating healthy, what would you suggest? But give me a moment because we have a call on the line. Give me a moment because we have a call on the line. Caller, you have a question or comment?
Yes, I have 2 questions. One, I'd like to have him explain the negative effect that it has on humans drinking cow milk. And the second is sugar, what do you call it? Artificial sugar.
Can you
Is
speak
it
up?
good for the body?
Can you repeat that? We'll need you to speak up a bit.
Yes, the artificial sugar that we're using today, is it healthy?
Is the artificial sugar that we're using today healthy?
No, it's not. And in fact, a lot of them have been taken off the market because it has so many side effects. So this is why information is so powerful. Before you do utilize any of those sugar, it would be nice to Google, research, get the information on what side effects, what it's made out of, and what the research is coming up about it. And to talk about cow milk is one of the things that bring the most mucus into our body, into our system. If you got a cold, a flu, a sinus, and you drink a little milk, it multiplies the condition because it multiplies mucus. But we know as a child, when a mother gives that baby a bottle of milk, and 20 minutes later or less, they have to burp them because all of that mucus will come out of their nose and their mouths.
Right.
Mucus come heavily from milk and cheese dairy products. So when people have asthma or respiratory problems or sinus, that might be something that, because of the research on what it does for multiplying mucus, to be the thing that you stay far from away and to make sure to clean your system out every 3 months so that you can keep stuff moving out of your body, and especially mucus. And you don't want mucus to stay up in your body for a length of time because a lot of diseases, bacteria, and germs live in that mucus. So it makes it very difficult in a lot of ways.
Caller, do you have another question? You said first. Okay, the caller is gone. Can you explain what type of food we should eat? You talked about the 60 minerals, 16 vitamins. What type of food should we eat to get that?
There's a list of vegetables called alkaline vegetables. They are our best source of vegetables to get a lot of the minerals that the body really needs.
Okay.
But to be sure, it's better to get a research communicated product that gives you all the nutrition things that you need. Because, see, unfortunately, the United Congress said that our soil in the United States has just depleted until when you want to grow fruits and vegetables, it's not necessarily going to be what nutritional things that should have been in there
Right.
because the soil is depleted. And I really believe the fact that it was written that we should, every 7 years, let the earth, the soil relax, don't plant, don't take up anything off the earth, and then let it rejuvenate itself. So everything in life needs and wants and have to have rejuvenation. And because of that, you may get a fruit that should have had vitamin C or so much, but it may not, because if the soil is depleted, then we have a problem of getting the nutrients out of it that we really need.
Okay. Ooh, I don't know if I can really wrap my head around all of that. But I do understand the process, and when you relate it to the cars, I definitely understand that. I see we have another caller on the line. Caller, you have a question or a comment?
I do. Good evening. My first question is for the guest. You say that dairy causes mucus, and you found this information on Google and all that good stuff. That really is not the case. Information is power, but misinformation is just as powerful against progress. Now, if you could you please cite the sources that provide proof and evidence of the claims that you're making, especially about this rotating or letting the earth rejuvenate, that kind of thing that's agricultural crop rotation, and we know that that's a process that farmers can use, ad nauseum, and they make perfectly reasonable crops. That's how we keep ourselves full. I'm pretty sure at the next opportunity you'll say GMOs are bad, which everything is GMO. I'm glad that you stated that everything is a chemical, because it is. Everything is a chemical. Now, what chemical solutions that you have in your body at any given time are important, sure. But I also think you're aiming in for this cleansing fad. There is no evidence that your body benefits from any kind of lemon cleanses, B12 cleanses, all that stuff you find that the health people say is a great thing. The real thing is finding evidence and using a scientific method to reach real conclusions about what is facing our health.
Okay,
Not
caller, we
this
want to
sort
give
of
him an
fad
opportunity to
Thank you.
respond. Go ahead.
The first thing on the milk part, you always want to prove all things. If you have put some milk in your mouth and just let it sit there for a few minutes, it's going to multiply mucus. If you give a child a bottle of milk in 15 or 20 minutes, the mucus will multiply so much until you have to burp that child. So if you need more understanding to prove if or if not mucus is formed from milk, then there are several things that you can do. And if a person has a cold or a sinus and they drink some milk, they can see how it reacts after they have drank the milk. So there are a lot of things you can prove yourself, and it's always better to do some proof observation to make sure that what you're doing and how you're taking care of yourself is doing what it needs to be done.
Okay, so Mr. Beck has responded to that question, the comment that the caller made. And I want to continue by asking some additional questions. Can you talk about good nutrition in terms of exercise and along with exercise?
Exercise, according to the research that we have gotten, and you can probably find, we need to exercise for our heart so that the heart can contract and do Anything you don't use, you lose. That old statement is very true, I find out. If you sit in the same spot and hold your arm in a certain way, and then you try to move it, it's not gonna, it's gonna just lock up. So anything you don't use, you lose the ability to, anything you don't use, you lose the ability to use. So exercise is good for your heart and your breathing, your lungs, but also for your bones and your joints and your connected areas so that you can keep them going. Because if you don't do anything else, you don't have to just get up and go weight training. A lot of people think exercise means you going weight training. But exercise could be that you go for a brisk walk, or you walk around your house, walk up and down from parking your car rather than going right to the door.
Right to the
Go
door.
a little further off so that you can walk and get the sunlight, because one of the things that most people find out, they don't understand why they are vitamin D deficiency. But according to the research, that it can be developed and produced by getting in the sunlight, and the body will produce it in doing that. Which means that a lot of people now don't go out in the sun too much, because most people, they driving or they inside.
Right.
So you're not out in the sun, so you're gonna have a lot of vitamin D deficiencies. So everything has its reason and needs, which means that we just got to know what we got to know. That's why information is so important. We have to learn. I don't care what it is that you have to deal with. Information is power. It would be worth your time and your advantage to go out and get the information, get some research, prove some things, took the value of not knowing into knowing, because it is a very bad situation to not know.
Okay. When we talk about good health and good nutrition, I hear a lot of times people talk about plant-based foods. Can you talk a bit about what plant-based foods are?
Well, our body is dirt, comes from the earth.
Okay.
So the things that has been found to help the body the most is to get it from where our body come from, which is the earth.
Okay.
And those soils, those plants, those trees, and different things that grow up in that earth. Initially, when man first came into existence, we were vegetarians. We didn't eat anything except what came from the soil, the fruits, the vegetables, and that was all. And we lived very well, from what I have read and understood, that when we were vegetarians, we had a lot of things going on. But when we came to the point where we put meat into our diet, you now have to be conscious to know that anything that lives that has blood, what condition that animal has, like mad cow disease or chicken flu, that particular condition is in that animal. And if you don't know anything, we are what we eat. And if we just constantly be conscious of the fact that we are what we eat, then we would be less cautious to just jump up and just put stuff in our bodies. But even when I read that if you're going to eat animal, don't eat the blood, well, I can understand that, because the blood is, if you go to the doctor and you got a health condition, first thing they do is draw some blood, because
Right.
what you got is in your blood.
Right.
So if you eat an animal blood and they have a disease, then you got a
And it's
problem.
in your body.
Yeah, so it's just about plant, is meaning that it came from the soil, and that's where our bodies came from, the soil. So you're going to find that things that is more beneficial and helping is coming and growing in the soils.
Okay. You're tuned in tonight to the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. I want to make sure that you get this information. Our contact and phone number. The email address is thedotyreport@gmail.com. The phone number is 312-282-1375. And again, that is the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. We are here on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. and we talk about a particular health issue. I want to go to some of our programs and services that we have. We have, when we're out in the community, we're engaging with job health resources, prison reentry programs, as well as the Chicago Public Schools Hepatitis Education and Immunization Pilot Program. And we have a hepatitis trainer where we have trainers go out in the community and they talk about train other individuals on hepatitis. So again, you are watching the Doty report on comprehensive health. Email address is the dotyreport@gmail.com. Phone number 312-282-1375. Okay, so Mr. Beck, I understand that you have a series of workshops that you do as well. Could you explain those workshops?
We are constituents of the late great Dr. Alvina Fulton, and she had a school called Fultonia Health and Fashion Institution that came to the South Side 70 years ago, and Dr. Fulton opened up the first health food store on the South Side of Chicago. And with her research and information as a ND, she brought a lot of information that she shared with everybody who came through her school and her educational. And with that, her whole bottom line is education, information. Give information that the value of food for our health, and to eat consciously, eat healthy, eat what the body can use, and not put the things in the body that it does not. So with that information and research, being a student at the Fultonia Health and Fast Institution in 1995, I learned after staying around there that of all the things that we had to do, our education was indicated that whatever health condition you have, the first thing you might want to find out is what foods cause that condition. Clean your system out by giving some foods that would help the body to eliminate. Begin to put the nutrition requirements in because the body needs the nutrition things in order for it to work. And start doing any and everything that your body needs to get healthy, like drink the water, which the research said if you drink half of your weight in ounces of water will be adequate. Exercise, rest, and try not to stress as much, because stress is one of our most detrimental things that affect our health. So we're putting a combination of doing all the things that the body needs to be healthy, to educate what it is and what it does, and to inform everyone who's willing to listen, who want to know that if I want to get some of my health in a better condition, it's going to be up to me. I got to learn some things, and I got to make a commitment and do it. And these workshops that we have, and the research passing down from the Fultonia Health and Fast Institution under the late great Dr. Alvina Fulton, we are just passing it on. So Chicago Good Health Group is an organization that we are a part of, and that's exactly what we are pushing real hard to do, get and be healthy. So Chicago Good Health Group is the organization that has a strong belief, because of my education and all of us involved, on how important it is to know what we need to do to take care of our health and actually commit to do it. And we do the workshop and the seminars to pass information on and encourage, motivate, because we need to have 4 or 5 things. You got to have a goal. If your goal is to get off some of your conditions, to get better, then you start the strategy. Then you start the commitment. And then you make sure that you understand that you want to get your body in a better condition because you're not wanting to have to deal with what you have. So you make the commitment to do all the things, but first to learn what you need to learn to do it.
Okay. I want to thank you for that. And I do want to say that I find that sugar is a culprit of a lot of health issues. And that's one of the reasons why they got this beverage tax, I guess, so that people can stop buying a lot of these sugary drinks, these beverages with the sugar in it. But our time is just about up. You have been watching the Doty Report on Comprehensive Health. Our email address again is the Doty Report, and Doty is D-O-T-Y, the Doty Report @gmail.com. The phone number is 312-282-1375. And again, we have been graced tonight with the presence of Mr. Robert Beck, who is an R&D chemist who studied the emphasis on food and nutrition. And I want to say thank you for coming out tonight. And we would love to hear from you again. If you have any additional questions about any information that has been on the report tonight, please refer to the email address or the phone number that has been listed. Thank you.